Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today I'm going to be talking about Ice Ice's Jakiro OFFLANE. This game, he put on an absolute show. Like literally, dude, he played so well. Like all of his map movements, his laning stage, everything was so top tier. Like I was just watching this, I'm like, I have to make a video on this. I have to make a video on this. On top of that, if you haven't seen Jakiro core as of late, it's incredibly powerful. People are buying 2 Knolls into boots into Witchblade. And then what they do is they combine the Witchblade timing with the level 10 attack range talent. Jakiro has a 325 attack range talent at level 10. You combine this with the fact that you can use Liquid Fire with your attack range. You can cast it with attack range, if you didn't know that. And then when you cast this spell with attack range, it applies the Witchblade as well. So you just tick people for like a gajillion damage from across the map, and let's get into it. By the way guys, if you want to become absolutely broken, well, what you need to do is sign up to the GameLeap website down below right now. The reason why you should do that is because every single day we post a new video there. Content that you simply just will never get on YouTube, we post every single day to the website. It's really top tier stuff. I'm very proud of what I make over there. We also have other creators, many of my great friends who are top tier Dota players, creating guides about different heroes, different roles, different items, skill builds, talent builds, everything you need to know to get to the next rank. So if you feel a little bit lost, you're a little bit stuck, click the link down below. I'll see you guys there. And now let's get into the video. All right, so let's hop into the laning stage. First thing to keep in mind, he starts with no regen. This is a bit extreme. You can go this item build. I think going 2 circlets, mantle, branch, tangos is the most standard build, but you can do this all out stats build. The only thing you have to keep in mind is this requires a very specific playstyle. What I mean by that is when you go this sort of item build, you're not looking to auto attack early on into the wave. You might cast the occasional nuke, but for the most part, you're playing relatively defensive and looking to line up a 2-man queue whenever possible. Basically every single time Ice can get a 2-man queue, he's generally going to go for it. And by queuing these melee creeps, it's going to naturally shove in the creep wave. This is generally a good thing because if you shove in the creep wave, which Jakiro's Dual Breath is one of the best spells in the game at doing because of the attack slow and the damage, then it makes it very hard for the enemy to trade. Unfortunately, they lose the range creep here, but you can see the main gist is he's trying to zone them off the range creep, shove in the wave, and he's abusing the fact here that because the enemy has 2 melee creeps on them, he can easily zone them, right? These creeps are basically a teammate. He's going to do a ton of damage to the Hoodwink here. Really nice value. And as you can see, if you play the wave accordingly, you'll take practically no damage. I will say though that I think it's a good idea to have tangos most games, especially if you're not Ice. One thing I'd like to briefly discuss, I want to know your guys' opinions on this. You could let me know in the comment section down below. But he takes level 2 in the E. I honestly don't really fully understand why. The only reason I can kind of like understand on why maybe you would do this is the fact that it costs no mana, right? And so therefore you just use it as much as humanly possible. However, Dual Breath has one of the biggest spikes from level 1 to 2. It's a double in damage. And as a result, I don't really understand why he takes the second point in E. I feel like it's just not nearly as good as Dual Breath, especially if you're going to end up using it, which he, like for instance, does here. They end up getting the kill anyway, but it would have been much, much easier with 2 points in Dual Breath. And so personally, I recommend at level 3 taking the second point in Dual Breath. You'll see in this clip here, just from the Wraith King trying to go on him, what ends up happening is when the enemy tries to go on you, you're going to reduce their attack speed by 72 when you're level 4. Even when you're level 3, it's practically the same, right? And so what you'll end up noticing is they try to kill you, but because of the attack speed slow, they basically can't get many hits off. Like, these skeletons generally shred ranged heroes. Wraith King skeletons are a hard counter to ranged heroes. In this case, it just isn't the case because they have no attack speed. So they can't catch up to him, and then the Wraith King is just getting completely ticked out. And this is always what happens in this matchup. If they don't go on you, you just slowly kill them with your nukes. If they do go on you, your position 4 will almost always get a return kill or a ton of return damage because of how your hero works. And you can even see here, oh yeah, I think this is where he ends up dying to the Lion. But you can see here, he was so confident in this level 3 spike or level 4 spike that he even mans up to a full HP Hoodwink. This Hoodwink, if there wasn't a skeleton here and there wasn't a Lion rotating in, he could basically kill Hoodwink on a one-on-one trade. It would be pretty close. Like, you think I'm kidding? No, it would be pretty close because look at how much damage these nukes are doing, and this guy has no attack speed. Next up, I always recommend going boots into Windlace, just like Ice does. Movement speed's just too important on Jakiro. Your hero is very, very slow. It does a lot of damage, but it can get ganked pretty easily in the mid game. Like, and when I say mid game, I mean like to any mid rotation essentially. So like even there he gets ganked, kind of sucks, but the reality is like any hero that can get on top of Jakiro and burst him early game is a real pain for him. But the thing is, like, as long as you have movement speed and 2 nulls, you're just going to be able to dominate most lanes. Like, unfortunately in this game, he got ganked a ton, so I can't really show you how hard you can win the lane. But the reality is, guys, like, if you just cast your Q off cooldown once you hit level 3, most people can't lane. They're not going to buy enough regen, and even if they do, it's usually not going to be enough. In terms of skill build, I like what he does here. He opts for 3 points in each of the nukes instead of taking ulti. The problem with Macro Pyre in the early game, regardless of the fact that it's kind of hard to land, isn't even that, because what's nice about Macro Pyre is it does residual damage now, even when people get out of the fire. If they got skipped, like, even if they get clipped by it, they take a lot of damage. So it's really good at level 1 now. The problem is the mana. It's just too much mana. Like, you need to use Dual Breath to harass, to farm, to do everything, and it's 160 mana, very expensive spell. So do not take your ulti at level 6, almost always just take your nukes. As you can see here, it's generally enough to kill most heroes as they pick up a kill onto the Wraith King. And on top of that, the reason why you also want to not take your ulti is it's very important. Liquid Fire might be the weirdest scaling ability in the game, because it goes down by 5 seconds cooldown at every single level besides max. For some reason, Valve is just like, yep, it's not 5, it's gonna be 4. So it's a 4-second cooldown. And when you get it down to a 4-second cooldown, man, I mean, you just spam it on towers. You can kill any tower from full. Most heroes can't trade with you because it's a 60 attack speed slow, and it's 150 damage every 5 seconds. 4 seconds, my bad. And that's obviously, you know, very significant. But yeah, the main gist of Jakiro, which is why this is such a good pub hero, and I was so excited to make this video, is it's so simple. Like, the laning stage is so simple. You just sit in the lane for basically as long as you can until you take the tower, right? And if heroes run at you, you're good at counter ganking. You just cast your spells when they run at you, and yeah, you just kill their tower. The only thing you have to keep in mind is when you walk up to towers, you're very likely to get ganked. So for instance, right here, look at the map. No one mid, no one top, he's fearing the gank. Sees the hoodwink, he's like, okay, I might be getting run at. In fact, I think he was even backing before the hoodwink even showed. Yeah, like he basically backed as she showed. I don't even think he was backing in reaction to the hoodwink. That would be like superhuman reaction time. I think he was mainly backing just in the fact that like, hey, I don't see anyone. Like there's a good chance they're coming. I'm just gonna chill. And that's really what it looks like to me. And yeah, look at that. Hoodwink rotates, OD rotates, line rotates. They don't get a kill. Tower's basically dead. Huge play, right? Unfortunately, he doesn't get the tower, but he avoids the death. So that was like super, super nice. At this point in the game, once you've taken the top tower, you want to consider mid. I do want you guys to keep in mind though, that if you can keep laning and bullying top, it's okay to do that, right? The thing is like this game, they kicked him out of top, so he had to leave. But I'm pretty sure that if he didn't get kicked out of top and he had the luxury to just continuously shove it in and kill some of the nearby camps, he would do that. However, this mid rotation is really clean because there's a 10-minute cart wave, and Jakiro makes pushing towers like beyond easy. You'll see this here, right? As long as you occasionally eat a tower, it just slowly is going to die. And unfortunately, this is the risk of pushing mid tier 1, which is why like in your pubs, if you see this big skirmish coming, back up a little bit, okay? Even Ice made a little bit of a mistake there. He like a little bit overcommitted, and I get the gist, right? He wants to protect this cart, make sure it stays alive, sieges the tower, but do not value that over your life unless it's literally going to get you the tower, right? In this case, that's not it. So this was obviously not that great of a play, pretty big throw, but the right idea is there. And to be fair, his team was kind of getting stomped, so like every play you're seeing is honestly still super value. Like he gets the top tower when his team's behind. He gets half the mid tower when his team's behind. And now he's going to TP mid again. You can see the gist of Jakiro. You want to be annoying. You want to create chaos around towers, because when you do, you will naturally get towers and you will naturally defend towers. You just want to play around towers for the most part. And look at this lion. Poor guy. Oh my god, look at him. Man, it's so sad to watch. They're just limping away. It's like, please, please. But yeah, over and over again. And the value here is you kind of just make your carry free farm. Like, I know you guys might be like, oh, my carry's not going to free farm because he's shit and he shows up to all the fights. Like, whatever. Then just win the fights. You're playing Jakiro. Hopefully you've won your lane. You should have won your lane. This hero like is super good at laning, right? And yeah, look at this team fight. Look at this damage. Holy. This hero does a lot of damage, and it's really easy to understand what to do. When it comes to team fighting, just Q the first person you can. Don't wait for multi-man Qs. Just Q. Right, like this Q in particular, super value. It's on the 2 heroes. Like, I don't even know why they're making this play, but this Q and ulti, very value. Also keep in mind your ulti does not have to be based off a stun. It used to, and it's still good to like say, okay, you know, my ogre's gonna stun or this guy's gonna Aether Remnant. But the reality is even your Q is like good enough to basically keep people in the ultimate for 2 to 3 seconds. And you can see even when he gets out of the ulti, it still does like a, I don't know how much it is. I think it's like an extra 200 damage, 220, which is like very significant. And that puts the OD in kill range. Void Spirit cleans up. They kill the Hoodwink as well. This guy dies too. You know, he kites out of the tower range. Beautiful Ice Path. And Ultra Kill. Almost got a Rampage here. 12 minutes into the game when his team was losing, right? It just goes to show, if you play these fights and you constantly bait the enemy team to fight here, do not bait them to fight here. And I know you might be thinking, oh, but Speedy, you just dove the tower. Why can't I dive the tower? The fight started here, okay? You need the fights to start here or here. Don't start them here. You start them here, you're gonna die. You're gonna feed, you're gonna take the tower and just feed. Don't do that. After that, he goes for raindrops and boots of travel. You definitely need the mana regen. Also, he uses the occasional clarity even when in base just to get out onto the map faster. But the main gist here when you get travels is to kind of shove out whatever creep wave your teammates don't want to farm, because you one-shot creep waves, right? So it's really easy to clear waves safely, and that's exactly what he does. Now he goes for a bit of a smoke king. He's got his level 10 talent. This is the attack range talent plus the Witchblade timing. You're gonna see how much it actually does in these team fights. It's really crazy how much damage you do, and from like a really high range, right? So you can kind of just poke and prod, and we'll see how he executes on that in this fight. So bit of a weird smoke ink, kind of bumps into the OD in a weird position, gets up to dual breath. Always the key is to generally E then dual breath. He dual breath is first here. He uses it first because he's already melee range. Otherwise, you usually E first, mainly because of the range difference, right? You want to cast your long range spell first, slow them down with the Witchblade, then dual breath. But as the fight develops, his Void Spirit goes in. Really good awareness here. Most players, when they're retreating, are panicking and not watching the fight. Ice Ice Ice, on the contrary, is retreating, getting back into position, keeping this like 500 radius that Jakiro likes to play from, and gets off a beautiful ulti into Ice Path onto 2 heroes, and the OD and the Lion kind of just melt. From there, you want to use your E as much as you can from the backline. Literally, as much as you can, you want to E. Even there, he probably should have E'd the Wraith King. E'ing the Spirit Breaker was okay, but over and over again, you just E, right? And all the time, it's applying the Witchblade, right? This guy has Witchblade and Liquid Fire applied to him. He's just ticking. Like, look at this tick damage. Plus Ignite, this guy's just dying to ticks. And eventually he does die to ticks. You'll see after the fight ends, you're generally gonna have to go get mana, which is why Bots is so good on this hero. Just lets you go back to base, get mana. You can see he buys a clarity and immediately gets back out onto the map, off to the mid wave. And oh yeah, no, they just instantly smoke, right? They just wanted to keep up the tempo. Clearly he mega values this Witchblade timing, and rightfully so. Look at how much damage this is, guys. Look at how much damage this is. This is an OD who only is basically going to take damage from Jakiro, and just look at his health, right? He gets Ice Path into a Q, into like a Shuriken, okay? And his health is just half if he doesn't Astro himself. He just dies. He just dies. You might be like, why didn't he Astro himself? What is that going to do? He was still stuck, right? Like he's just gonna come out and die. All right, so this, in my opinion, is the highest skill play of the game. This is like the biggest thing you guys need to learn how to do if you're trying to stomp your pubs. You have to learn, especially when you're playing high mobility heroes that can get around the map, you need to get to the side lanes, shove them out, kill people in side lanes, even if it's alone, guys. This Jakiro offlane can kick almost every hero out of the side lane. Why? Because he can harass them to half health, if not more, without even showing, essentially. So please do that. But you'll see he's gonna farm up the occasional camp. It's very easy. Your Q plus E just kills every camp. It's super easy. Finds this this OD, sets up. Actually kind of like misses the ult. But gets off the ult, gets another kill. And the greatest part about this is now, because he has bots, he can shove in the top lane, which is what Jakiro wants to do, constantly clear waves. And the enemy team tries to make a play onto mid, right? So he's clearing top, clearing top, clearing top. Beautiful awareness. You see how fast he did that, guys? This is what will win you pubs. Play the side lanes as much as you can. Even if you don't have wards, I don't care. Just go die in the side lanes, play the side lanes, and TP as fast as humanly possible to engagements that are around your towers. If you do this, you will win pubs because your net worth will be extremely high. Look at his net worth. And no, do not tell me, oh, but his team is stomping speed. They were 2K net worth behind like 10 minutes in. His team is not stomping. He's just better than you. He's just making better decisions and better moves and being more efficient. That is what it is what it is. You can do this in your games regardless of what happens in the game. Okay? One of my team's feeding. I don't care. All right, either way, look at his TP. He gets here right on time for the ice path, gets this Wraith King, and it's so good because this sets up for the Aether Remnant, and they're able to kite this guy out. If he didn't get here in time and they chased the Wraith King to here, the enemy team would have been able to easily counter-initiate. But because of all the movement speed slows from the Witchblade and the Dual Breath, Wraith King can't move at all. Bit of a grief from Ice 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 here, a little bit late on the Ice 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 path, but you know, it is what it is. Cut him some slack. The next big thing is we look at a skirmish here. I just want to show how you need to play it around cooldowns. Don't man up, guys. Like, please. Just watch how he plays his fight, okay? Drops Q, drops E, kind of misses a little bit, and then he has to kite out. His E comes up, E's, runs away, runs away. Ice Path comes up, Ice Path, runs away, runs away. Dual Breath E comes up, uses it, runs away. Don't man up. Don't man up. Keep the distance. Please, you are not tanky. Yes, he's going BKB next, then he can man up a little. Don't man up. You don't have a defensive item. You have movement speed, that's it. Kite with it. All right, let's end the video here. Well, not literally here, but pretty soon with a beautiful bait play. Also, just for talents, at level 15, he takes the health talent. I do like Liquid Fire attack speed. I think it's good, especially if the enemy team has like illusions that can't purge it. Like Naga and TB. I really like it. You can just like AoE, because it's AoE. This thing is an AoE. It splashes when you hit them. So you can kind of just slow the attack speed of like these illusion heroes. Even like something like PL, because it's such a low cooldown. So in those cases, I really, really like it. Otherwise, the health is definitely the more reliable of the two talents for sure, especially considering you're off lane. And like if you go BKB like he does, which I like, I think like the two best options in my opinion here are BKB, or I really like Kaiasange as well. It makes you really tanky, do a lot of damage. The only problem is like the cast ranges on Jakiro are kind of mediocre in terms of like Dual Breath. Honestly, being the biggest one, that's a problem. So I think BKB is just significantly more reliable in these games, especially against something like OD that doesn't really care about Kaiasange. It's bad this game in that case. But as you can see, because he has BKB, this OD doesn't do anything to him, literally nothing to him. And yeah, he's just baits. This play was a bit risky, but it super works out. I think they didn't realize he had BKB because the OD walked up to him so confidently, and that kind of just causes them to overextend, and yeah, sets up for obviously a big set of kills. So beautifully done. Once again, just understanding his timings. He didn't make any solo plays like that in the mid lane until then. Basically, until then, he was just pushing in the side lanes, right? And then would TP into mid fights. He wouldn't like be the guy deep pushing mid, outside of like when he was taking mid tier 1, but that was earlier into the game, right? But even here, look, they win this fight. What does he do? Shoves bottom, right? Shoves bottom, bots us into the fight. Because his BKB was down, right? So he can just show up late and easy. That's gonna be all, guys. Honestly, this shit is good. Like, it's really good. This is not one of those memes. It's absolutely strong. Pro teams are picking it mid. They're picking it support. They're picking it off lane. Like, yes, even going like these items. It's not a meme. It's not some like for fun build. It is fun though. Like this build, the greatest thing about these builds, man, is they're fun as hell. Like, it's such a cool way to play the game. Like, this is the stuff that just makes me love Dota. You know what I mean? Builds like this type of play style, just being innovative, being creative. Like, I love that stuff. It gives me, it gives me energy. And so, yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. And I'm out. Yeah, just by the way, they win this game in like 2 minutes. So, I'm out. Peace.
And that's all. But remember, before you leave, before you tune out, subscribe to the GameLeap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below. And I'm out. Peace.